I'll get you a new affiliate link too, because that one was a little outdated.
All right. I think we're live. Let me just double check. Real quick, just a second. Sorry. Yep, we're live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Tech Talk with T&E. I'm Terry and my wife Elisabeth. Please like and share and do all the stuff that wherever you're watching this show with. But yeah, this is every Monday, 10 a.m. Pacific time until the clocks change when everybody else changes in the country except us. But yeah, welcome. Thank you for being here. We have a super cool guest, Chris Walker. He's one of my favorite people. We actually, 2 years ago, I actually asked Chris to speak at SEO Spring Training. And it was one of the coolest moments at that entire conference. So I'm really looking forward to, Chris being on the show and talking about Legiit Marketplace and, of course, Legiit Live that's coming up. But welcome, Chris. Thank you.
Welcome. Thanks for having me.
All right. Elisabeth, do you have anything before we get started?
It's quite an outstanding collection of Funko Pops you have.
We were just talking about that, but right before you got on, it's a problem, to be perfectly honest.
You love them because you love them. Is there like a fun little backstory or?
Not really. I needed a hobby because that's what a lot of people told me. And one day I just picked up one that I thought was on a whim. I was like, hey, this is kind of neat. And then I started like researching it and I saw how much variety there were. And now I just buy 2 or 3 every week, sometimes more, sometimes less. And it adds up.
Is it cheaper or healthier than heroin? I mean,
I've never done heroin, so I can't speak to that, but probably healthier, I would assume. It worked out well too, because I just randomly started putting them back here and it always gets comments and conversation like this. So it's been good for business in a
good opener,
but somewhat.
Terry. Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. I've got a couple hobbies. Just mine don't really show too much of. Well, I got swords in the back. I collect swords and knives.
Yep.
And then I'm getting into bonsai trees pretty heavily. So it's like
I had one of those once and it didn't live very long. I didn't know how to take care of it properly. Apparently you have to water it differently. Like the water has to come from the bottom. So
and reality, I mean, we're in Phoenix obviously, and it is super hard this summer. I think we've been over 110 all summer long, except for like 6 days. And
I believe it. I went to Las Vegas a couple of weeks ago and it was like 113 one of the days I was there. I've never seen heat like that before.
Exactly. Yeah, I saw you went to Vegas. Was that just a trip on your own, just to go and have fun? Cool.
Yeah, it was my first vacation in 5 years, actually.
Right on. Yeah, we love Vegas. It's one of our favorite places. We go a few times a year. It's about a 5-hour drive for us. So.
Yeah, I love it too. Unfortunately, it took much, much longer to get there because it was like a couple of days after the CrowdStrike thing.
Yeah, for sure.
My flights were.
I saw you went and toured a whole bunch of new airports and.
Yeah, I was literally in 5 cities in one day to get there.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had to stay over in Charlotte last week, and we went to Gatlinburg, and that was interesting. So
that's a big
first time we've ever had. We typically try to go one way, obviously, but or nonstop. But yeah, so we just got caught and it was just like, oh, okay, well, it's new adventure.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about Legiit Marketplace. How did you get started with that? How did you come up with the idea even? It's one of our favorite products. We use a lot. We use Legiit for a lot of things, as do a lot of our friends. But so how'd you get started in this thing? It's like, if you ever want to build a SaaS product, you need to follow Chris and what he did.
I don't know about that, but thank you. Well, basically I guess depends on how far back you want to go, but we'll start in around 2015. I started on a whim. I listed a SEO service on another freelance marketplace that no longer exists. And it was kind of like on a just afterthought. And it like took off for me and I started doing really, really well on that platform selling SEO services. And then an influencer mentioned my services and it really took off for me. And that was one of the things that contributed to me being able to like quit my job. So after a while, I was doing really well on there. And then that site started having problems. It got hacked, it would crash, it would be offline for days. So I started selling stuff through my own website, like my Superstar SEO site. And I had made relationships with some of the freelancers on that site, and they were like, well, can we sell through your site too? I was like, maybe I'm onto something here. So I happened to meet a developer who was a customer on that other marketplace, and we partnered to start Legiit as just a way to replace what wasn't working any longer from that other site. And it was just going to be like a side product in my SEO business, but literally within the first month or two, it was my biggest source of revenue, and it's grown steadily from there. And that's been almost 8 years, almost 7 years now. And from there, we've grown it into more than just a marketplace. Like, we built the software and stuff into it too, because we wanted to be, marketplaces are getting to be somewhat of a dime a dozen.
Yeah.
We're trying to take it in a different direction, but that's kind of the quick and dirty history of it. It was meant to just be an extra product, but it's turned into its own thing that is beyond my wildest expectations.
That's cool. How many vendors do you have up there now?
Depends on how you look at it. Because some of them, they sign up and then they never sign up. They never log in again. But
yeah,
it depends. So it depends on how you look at it. But anywhere like active, probably a couple thousand. Total, probably 15,000. That could be way off in one direction or the other. I really don't know exactly, but something that I would say that's a reasonable answer.
That's pretty cool. Now, because your AI services is probably growing pretty quickly on that side.
Yeah, not as much as I would have thought, but yes and no. It helped offset, because like content services, if I'm being perfectly transparent, took quite a hit from when ChatGPT came out.
For sure, 100%.
And AI has offset that some, but I feel like it hasn't taken off like I expected it to, because I think a lot of people think they can do it all on their own. So
yeah, for sure, and that makes sense, I guess, for sure. Right on. And then you have your own products up there, obviously, and then so what's kind of the process to, if somebody wanted to get their stuff up there?
So anybody, I don't want to say anybody can list it. Anybody can attempt to list something. I think it's a 66-point inspection that every service has to go through before anybody can even see it.
Okay.
But we don't just reward people with sales just because they listed a service. That's a complaint that I get a lot. But you have to like earn it a little bit. You have to show that you have something that people actually want. You have to like put in a little bit of effort into promoting it yourself, to making it convert well, to look good, things like that. So that's kind of the way I've struck a balance between completely allowing anybody and everything like some sites do, but also not heavily vetting it to the point where there's nothing anybody wants, or like there's stuff that people want that I say no to because it's my opinion that no one should want it. Like, I didn't want that. Yeah. So that's kind of the way we've struck the balance. It's not perfect, but I think that's pretty fair to everyone that way.
Like I said, yeah, we use it a lot, and it's I like the filtering of it, that you can filter by reviews, obviously, recent reviews, stuff like that. And we use it for a number of different things, and we're always testing other services too, which is what I love about the marketplace. So you've built something pretty cool here. So you should be proud. Obviously, I'm not going to have everybody raise their hand that uses it like we did at spring training, but
please don't. I don't want to get choked up again.
So do you still do agency work, or is all of your time and effort put into Legiit?
I still do have my SEO business is called Superstar SEO, and that still exists. Like, we do a good amount of business through Legiit ourselves. We do probably anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000 a month in SEO services sales through there. And then I still have the agency side, which has like software and agency and training and stuff like that. I don't focus a lot on it, but it still makes a decent little income. And, they all kind of work together. It's a bit of a synergy between the two of them.
So may I ask, like, you don't have staff for the agency, you use your Legiit providers?
Depends on how you look at it.
Okay.
The people that work for me in the agency most of them are freelancers also.
Okay.
It's separate, and just in the same way that I am. Like, Chris, the freelancer, follows the same rules as everybody else. So technically they're separate, but everybody kind of does both.
Okay.
So
nice.
If what you're asking is like, do I outsource all of the fulfillment and stuff like that? The answer is not all of it, but we certainly do use some of it. Some of it we just do ourselves because we have our own staff. But
right.
Now, are you aggressively filling a pipeline for sales on your agency side, or are you just kind of, okay, cool.
No, I don't work on, everybody that I take on now comes to me. I don't do any kind of outreach at this point because it's just not the focus. You know, it's nice that it makes good money, but it's not the business I'm most focused on.
Now, are you starting to take Legiit outside
Terry, you're going off.
Sorry. Are you starting to take, yeah, exactly. Yep. I forget to do this every freaking time. So it's, you know, at least I'm consistent. So are you starting to take the marketplace outside of like the SEO internet marketing world more to small businesses directly?
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of the goal to begin with. I never wanted to be an SEO marketplace. I know that's in the meta title, but ironically, that's for SEO purposes.
Yeah.
No, like, yeah, like our goal is to help businesses. I think that's a question that I hate is how is it different than the one marketplace that a lot of people know of? Yeah. And that's one of the differences. We want to focus on helping businesses grow, whether it's, you know, some small 2 or 3 person business, or we have enterprise clients that use the site as well. So yeah, focusing on businesses, whether it's marketing, SEO, or just, you know, they need a logo or whatever. But what we don't want is, and we do have a small portion of this kind of thing, but we don't want to focus on the people that want to like hire a guy that looks like Jesus to sing them happy birthday or whatever.
Yeah.
Like you can get on the sites. Like there's nothing wrong with that. Clearly there's a market for it, but that's not who I want to work for with.
Exactly.
That's not who I'm trying to help.
Yeah. And that's it, you know, that's the same. And we did, the reason I started SEO University was the same way. It was to educate small business owners on how to do stuff, you know, if they wanted to do it themselves, obviously. So yeah, it's really cool. It's you know, it's one of the things that I haven't done is I haven't promoted it to my clients for certain things. Because I do think that there's some things, especially around, you know, making postcards for mailers, stuff around stuff, you know, more manual type stuff that we do for them, but I would rather have them, I'd rather not do that for them just because of the time that it takes.
Right.
And obviously people are more efficient, especially on the graphic side. So we use it a lot for graphics. We use it for link building. We use it for, I build all our reporting systems through Legiit. Finally got a new guy. That's pretty awesome.
Oh, that's good.
So yeah, it's always our first stop, as I tell the staff, you know, go to Legiit, do some research, you know, find somebody there. So that's awesome. So, but yeah, congratulations. Like I said, it's something I know you're proud of, and it's something that, you know, you and your partner work on, you know, pretty heavily. So,
oh yeah.
And so where does Jim come in? Was Jim with you since the beginning, or?
Yeah, I mentioned earlier that I partnered with a developer to do the development side, because if it was up to me, it would still say, to do the development, it would still say hello world. And Jim is that developer, not him specifically, but his agency and he himself as well as a developer. He takes care of that side, among many things beyond what are supposed to be part of his, you know, scope. Yeah, he does a lot. So yeah, I'm the face on the package, and I often joke that I'm like the Colonel Sanders of the site, like just the face on the sign. But he and some others do most of the heavy lifting.
Right on. Yeah, I'm looking forward to meeting him in person finally. So it's yeah, it's great. So
he sells on the too, so.
Oh, good. That's awesome. So tell us a little bit about Legiit Live. So this is a digital marketing conference that you guys are going to do, which I think is just super cool. Obviously, Elisabeth and I kind of encourage people to do conferences, especially if they can, you know, come at it from a different point of view. You know, destination type conferences, which, you know, obviously Myrtle Beach is a pretty freaking cool destination. Yeah. So I think it was great when you started talking about doing this, and yeah. So tell us a little bit about what was the thought process in going down this road.
Well, the truth is, for years I thought conferences were a bunch of nonsense. I thought it was like an excuse for people to take a vacation and call it work. And, you know, there probably is still some of that for a lot of people that do them. But, you know, then I went to yours, and I had been to one as like just a participant, and it was nothing special. And then years later, I went to yours, and I was like, well, this was pretty fun. This, I got a lot more out of this than both as a presenter and as a, I don't know, participant or whatever the right word is. than I thought. And then I spoke at another one that later that year in for OMG, and that was pretty good too. And then I did another one earlier this year in March in for SEO at the beach, and I thought that was really cool. And I was like, there's a lot more value to this than I thought. I think Elisabeth, I actually told you that at the end of our first at the conference with you. There's a lot more value in this than I thought there was. And so after that one I did back in March, I was just walking. I do a lot of walking, and that's where a lot of my, ironically, since that's my name, but that's where I come up with a lot of my ideas. And one day I was walking, and we have a Slack channel just for like ideas. And I said, should we have our own event? And I put that in there, and within minutes, Jim was like, yeah, I think we should. And that was in March, and been planning it ever since.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's pretty fun planning the things, but it also gets pretty stressful and chaotic. We're getting ready to, obviously, our sixth one is the first week in May next year. So we're in the whole hotel negotiation phase right now, which is, from, especially doing 5 in the past, we kind of have gotten, we've learned our lessons that, it's kind of not to let them control the opportunity. So
that was definitely the biggest expense. And it was also, they, I don't want to put them down. It was a good experience with them, but like, they kept pushing, like trying to push us to go ahead and pay and like get it paid before we really had any tickets sold. So I'm like,
for sure.
So ironically, there's a story there too. The day that we had to pay that, like, or they were going to start giving our rooms away, was again the same day that the CrowdStrike thing happened. So I couldn't make any credit card payments. So I literally had to go to the bank and get a cashier's check to like it was 1987 to pay that. I didn't even know how to do that. I had to Google how to get a cashier's check, go to the bank, and then go to the hotel in person and pay it. So another little side effect of that. So the whole time I'm thinking this will be a great story when I talk about this event. So
yeah, we have a lot of great stories per se.
Yeah, you gotta watch the hotels. They'll sneak shit in. They'll and what was it? The first live one after COVID. It just seemed to the whole hotel industry, once it opened back up, seemed to be a little bit more negative in certain areas. And I think that's the part of it, is they, sneaking stuff in, blah, blah, blah. And we're starting to get really good at finding that crap. So, but yeah, it's I'm really looking forward to it. So what kind of, obviously you live there. So
I do.
Which is obviously a big plus. We've done masterminds where we didn't live, and it was kind of a rule to make sure that you partner with somebody that lives there that can do all the, ground stuff.
Groundwork.
Yeah. I figured it made sense because it's like you said in the beginning, it's kind of a destination. So for those people that do like to make a vacation out of it, it's that we chose that time of year for that too, because like our tour season goes from Memorial Day to Labor Day. This is shortly after Labor Day. So the tourists will have gone home, but stuff will still be open, and the weather will still be nice. So that's why we chose that timing.
Exactly.
Home like a good thing. If you've been in a tourist area, you know that that's something you want.
For sure. So, and I was looking at the Island Vista Resort.
Yeah.
That looks pretty freaking bomb.
Yeah, it's a nice place. It's not that anyone's invited to my place, but it's within a few minutes of where I live. It's like I can walk there. I have walked there before, and it's only like a 2 or 3 minute Uber from the event site, which I did at a separate place. That was one of the things I got from SEO at the beach, was to have it in a cool location other than just a hotel conference room. I thought that would be a neat twist.
Nice.
For sure. Yeah, and that's we've looked at doing that a couple different times. And it's really interesting when you do find that, because I've been to events that it was literally, and this is before Uber, so it was kind of a pain in the ass to kind of get to, especially if you're relying on taxis or something. I went to one in, I think it was Dallas, and it literally was a fight to get there, and then to eat lunch was the next problem, So they gave you an hour for lunch, but I think everybody had to have 2 hours minimum just to go to find a place to eat and then eat and come back. And so, but you definitely have to look at all those different, type of scheduling stuff. But and we're looking at it again, having a separate, the nice thing about being in a separate place is now you have a little bit more control over the hotel because you're not talking food, you're not talking, all the different things where they make their money.
Yeah.
So, but no, that's cool. Now, where the event's going to be at?
It's called Pine Lakes Country Club. It's a golf course, which I know appeals to you. And it's the oldest. First of all, for people that don't know, Myrtle Beach has more golf courses than anywhere in the world.
100%.
And it's the oldest. This trivia could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's the oldest one in Myrtle Beach. And there's first of all, it's got a really cool like old colonial ballroom, which is where the event will be. But there's also I have a bit of a personal connection to it, and I'm going to tell this story at the event. But
cool.
The abridged version is that the company I worked for before I started doing all this owned that golf course at that time, and I'll leave the rest of that story for the event. But it's a really great story. That's why we chose that.
That's cool.
Nice.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, so I got the agenda up. It's 2-day conference with the VIP day the day before.
Right, Friday the 13th.
Okay. Oh, wonderful. I love Friday the 13th. Don't. So a lot of people refuse to fly on Friday the 13th, but I think.
If I'd had that, I may have done that differently if I'd have thought of it at the time.
Hey, we had ours. We scheduled ours right before the eclipse, and we actually have people that went to the eclipse, so, which is awesome. So, so day 5 days. So it ends at normal, like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Hopefully, yeah.
4:30, yeah, exactly. So,
I tried to build in a little bit of cushion for that. I also, one thing I tried to do differently was to schedule each speaker for a half hour rather than an hour, because maybe it's just my attention span, but an hour's more than I can handle. Plus, everybody talks longer than the time you give them anyway. So,
for sure, 100%, yeah, definitely. And and you really wanted, the meat of everything is during the breaks and during the lunches, and definitely, the networking part of it.
Yeah. As you mentioned lunch, by the way, the thing we will have, it'll be catered there. So there's that.
Oh, right on. Cool.
But if not, we have also more restaurants per square mile than anywhere in the world. So,
yeah, that's awesome. So, great lineup. You got, Gregory Ortiz, Andrew Moles. I don't know Andrew.
He runs the paid advertising for Legiit, which is a lot harder than you might think. Because it doesn't work like just having a landing page and a product. It's complicated.
For sure, 100%. Our buddy Eldar, Eldar is awesome. Mr. Wizard. Navneet Kajal, I probably butchered that freaking name. Tell me a little bit about him.
He's been in SEO for over 20, 25 years, something like that. Okay. And one of the things I wanted to do is, and I'm glad you've mentioned some of the people you've already mentioned, is bring some people that maybe everybody doesn't know. And
no, that's perfect.
Yeah, and Navneet, in my opinion, is one of the and I may be getting that name wrong too, but is one of the best kept secrets in SEO. In India, he's very well known, and he's coming all the way from India.
Right on.
Wow.
But yeah, he knows a lot. He's very well versed in all aspects of it, and has been very, very successful. And I'm guessing that other than me, nobody there's ever heard of him. So we're gonna change that.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's that you're doing exactly what as hosts of these events, we really try to bring on people that that even if they know them, they haven't really seen them live. We've got some people coming from overseas in May. Elisabeth won't let me talk about it yet. She's keeping my mouth shut. But I love that you're introducing new people to the crowd.
Well, I got that idea from you, actually, from you guys. I remember you telling me that. And I was like, I want to bring in some people too. And that's why I chose Andrew as well, because he's extremely creative and smart when it comes to paid advertising. And again, since most of my audience is SEO, I wanted to do something beyond just SEO, but I also wanted to do something that people in SEO probably aren't familiar with. So,
for sure. And, and people that in SEO that aren't doing something with paid advertising, I think they're crazy. I think that they work so good in combination of each other that I think it's almost, a disservice if you're not doing both for your clients.
Yeah, I use a golf analogy for that. Is like you have all these clubs in your bag, so why not use whatever one is best for the situation, and why be so attached to one particular one? If I tried to get out of a sand trap with a driver, it wouldn't work. So
yeah, 100%. And that's the I've told people that you'll get conversations with people, and hopefully through discovery, you'll find out that maybe SEO is not good for them right now. Maybe they need to go down pay-per-click because they need leads sooner. They need some other stuff to happen. And you find out that stuff through your discovery calls and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You don't throw everybody just into SEO because that's all you do. So
also for your own business, like, you know, it makes a lot of sense there too, right? Like, yeah, I've gotten really good business from running like paid ads to my SEO business. Of course, we get the trolls in the comments. If SEO is so great, why are you doing paid ad? I was like, because more than one thing at a time can work. That's why. But anyway,
yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, that's really gone awesome. So Brian Wyndham, one of my favorite dudes. He's awesome. He always brings something just incredible. I met Brian years ago at Stephen Kang did a 31 flavors event in Vegas. 31 people, everybody spoke, and Brian was there, and it just he floored the room. And I love those type of people that just put everybody into shock. So it's good to see Brian, and of course Big Mike. Big Mike Merlino. You can't have an event without Big Mike tearing up the room.
Yeah, fun story about Mike. At your event, I was like the third or fourth presenter, and somewhere in my presentation, I said "fuck." I'm like, great. Now I'm going to be the guy that said "fuck" in his presentation. And then Mike came after me. I was like, nah, I'm good. Never mind. And then
there was Nicole.
And then there was Nicole, who like made Mike look like a church boy.
Yeah. Nicole was 247. I think she did. Yeah, it's crazy. There's people in the back of the room counting. My son Skylar was. But yeah, it was pretty cool. But yeah, I love Mike. Mike's got some great, crazy good stuff for GMBs or GBPs, whatever Google's calling it now.
And just a very entertaining presenter as well.
100%, very entertaining, great to network with.
Yeah.
He's got a heart of gold. He'll bend over backwards for you. Yeah. Randy Rohde, another one of my.
I think you skipped one.
Yeah, me. So, I was so thankful that you even asked me to speak. Again, because a lot of people have heard Elisabeth and I talk about this. This year, we're specifically on a growth pattern for Solterra. So I specifically am not speaking at, last year I spoke at 13 events. This year, I'm probably only going to speak at 7. So we're really being particularly, where we want to go as far as, the event and the people that are putting on the event, but then also who all is going to be there and that stuff like that. So I was just super grateful that you asked me to speak. I'm going to be going over on page and schema in 2024, which I think if you're not doing really good on page right now, I think you're just going to get walked over. So yeah, thank you for inviting me. We're so looking forward to it. Randy Rohde, 38 Digital, one of our favorite people. I've known Randy for years. We do a lot of stuff with Randy. Elisabeth does a lot of stuff with Randy. So great guy. Another one that's just got a heart of gold. He'll give you the shirt off his back. Don't ask him because he looks weird without a shirt. But but looking forward to Randy. It's going to be awesome. So and we got Brock, Mr. Brock. So Brock is he's an incredible guy. One of these that I love, that Brock taught. I think I've known Brock 4 years now, I think. But one of the things I love what he teaches is he teaches how to manipulate strings, and which are URLs if you want to go that way. It's one of the funnest things that we love doing in schema. And matter of fact, during my schema course, I taught about, taking a URL from Google, whether it be machine ID or whatever, and manipulating that string for whatever term you're going after for that page or blog or whatever. So, but Brock's awesome. He's a great guy. Hopefully he's bringing his wife. She's also just an incredible human being. They definitely spoke at all of our events, and, we love having them there, and, it's good to see Brock again for sure. Yeah. So, any good stories about Brock? I know you went to their event at SEO on the beach. We couldn't go to that one. It was just bad timing.
The one I actually think of when I think of Brock is from the previous event that I went to that he was at, and they were giving out these like championship belts for like contests or something they did. He just randomly picked them up before and just started walking around with them. Like he was the champion, just taking pictures with them and stuff. And, he's a large person. So he looked like a professional wrestler, and it was just kind of cool. And then I did a live stream with them, him and Mike, because they're like partners in some capacity. And like before their event, and like the thumbnail I got was the two of them with the championship belts on the side of me and the person. So that's what I always think of that. And his name is Brock Meisner, which is very close to a professional wrestler named Brock Lesnar. So it always makes me think of that. So
that's awesome. Yeah, he's the first time I met Brock, they came to our
New Orleans.
I guess it was even in our New Orleans event, our mastermind. Him and Mike came. And it was pretty cool. It was just a great great guy, veteran, which I've got a heart for veterans, of course.
I didn't know that. I mean, I knew you were. I didn't know he was.
Yeah, he was too. So and we got to share some pretty good stories, and we had fun in New Orleans, obviously. James Slattery, man, James, he's probably one of the most coolest people in this industry that's kind of behind the scenes. He does some really awesome stuff. I'm really looking every time I meet him, every time I see him, he does something different or doing something different. That's just incredible. So he's have you met James before?
Yeah, I met him. I mean, I've known him through Facebook for years, but I met him at SEO at the Beach as well, where he was a presenter at the same time.
True. Yeah. Yeah, he's awesome. And then Rabbit Ricks,
Robbie Rizik.
It's funny too. He's actually one of my oldest Facebook friends from this industry, and we've never met in person. So one of the things I'm really looking forward to, he does some cool stuff with maps. I guess he's doing some really good AI stuff I was reading earlier. So I'm looking forward definitely to. So how did you meet him? Is he a vendor on Legiit?
Yeah, he's been there since day one, actually. And that's how I met him.
Actually, that's actually where I met him from. Now that I think about it. So
what you just said there is interesting too, is like that's one of the things I've gotten from these events is there's people I've known for years that I've literally never seen bigger than their Facebook profile picture that you meet in person. It's just a whole different thing. So like Eldar, I'd known him a little bit through Facebook, but I didn't really like know him. And now he's like the person I spend the most time with at these events, because you tend to like, migrate to a couple people, and it's just interesting how that works.
For sure, and it is, the networking at these events is where you meet people, and I mean, I've got stories obviously from all of our events of people that became partners, and there's just some really cool things that can happen, especially if you're struggling with one area or another, or if you're on, if you do want to start a SaaS product or whatever, there's all kinds of people that, that have done that, and they can kind of tell you yes, no, or indifferent, but yeah, it's a great freaking time. So looking forward definitely to meeting him. Kira. So who is Kira?
So I do a lot of interviews on my channel, and I did one with, Mad Singers. He was a speaker to them. And I asked, does anybody know anybody else they'd like to see? And that's one of the people he recommended was her. So, we talked, and she eventually came on, and she did an incredible presentation that was way over my head on international SEO, which she's just really well with. She works with some really high end like car businesses and things like that. And literally this was one of the two people on this list that was by popular demand. Like during that stream, I was getting messages from people asking me to have her come speak at the event because she was so impressed with it. So, and again, it's somebody that maybe not a lot of people know of. So I wanted to get her to come, and she's coming from the UK actually.
Right on. Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to meeting her. There's I don't say international SEO. I mean, I've got clients in New Zealand and Australia, but they're local businesses. So I've always been curious about the international side, especially when you get into affiliates and some of the stuff we're doing there.
I was mind blown with some of the stuff she said. And I don't use that term lightly because I think it gets overused. Yeah, but it was way over my head. Like, I'm not ashamed to admit that. Like, I've never done the international clients I have are like yours. Like, technically they're international, but it's like a local business to Australia, but not. Yeah, I'm not trying to get American business to Australia or something like that.
For sure, 100%. And that's be honest. Yeah, mean, you definitely brought out the speakers for sure. You know, and then of course Brian Cato, the master magician of sheets and pretty much anything Brian wants to do.
He was the other one that was by popular demand. I did a stream with him, and people were telling me I needed to get him to come speak too. Not that I wasn't going to ask him anyway, but you know.
Yeah, he's an incredible guy. And again, another one with a heart of gold.
Yeah.
We actually, a lot of people might not know, but when at the first day of SEO spring training, we got attacked from all kinds of things at 7:00 in the morning on the first day. Website was down, you know, our live stream was down, everything. And so Brian and Elisabeth just stepped in right then, and I don't know how many hours they worked on it, but that's the kind of guy he is. He just freaking, you know, he's right there. He'll step in, you know, and just, you know, help you. And so I'm not sure what he's going to speak on this time, but he's always the guy that I reach out to. Anything, Google Sheets, Docs, all the different tools that Google has.
I didn't know that story about you guys getting attacked, but I am certainly not surprised.
Yeah.
Literally anytime that we do anything big, somebody comes for us. So.
Oh, it was crazy, you know, and SEO University was attacked. You know, I launched my schema course 2 weeks ago, and sure enough, freaking somebody attacked me, you know, or attacked that university site. And, Brian,
it's why I don't do public case studies anymore, because literally 100% of every website I've ever shown in public has either been hacked, negative SEO, or stolen, like cloned or whatever.
Sure.
Every course I've ever put out has been stolen. I don't even care anymore. I think the only way to make a course and not have it get stolen is to make something that's so terrible that nobody wants to steal
it. That's for sure.
And
yeah, I just took on a new consulting client, and they do courses, and it's funny too, because their courses are all out there on the internet. They're not even trying to secure it. And I'm like, I don't know if you guys wanted this out there. So we have an interesting conversation tomorrow of all the stuff I found. So, but well, cool. Well, what else about the event? I mean, what do you think is going to be, you know, tell us about the VIP day. What's happening?
Well, before we do that, there may be one or two more speakers still.
Okay.
People are still trying to get their schedules. And
okay, cool.
I don't get it personally. Like, I know mine, you know, a year in advance, but anyway.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm sorry. So what was your question?
Tell us a little bit about the VIP day.
It's right now. It's going to be just a party at Dave and Buster's, where we're going to get a bunch, which is at a place called Broadway at the Beach here, which is like takes up about 4 city blocks. It's like shopping, nightlife, restaurant center, and then Dave and Buster's. It'll be kind of like the thing you did. It wasn't at Dave and Buster's, but the bowling place that you had us.
Mavericks.
Yeah, it's going to be very similar to that event. You know, free food, free tokens, free hanging out, networking.
Fun.
Yeah. And that, like I say, that is at a place called Broadway at the Beach, so you can go do other stuff while you're there too. We should probably put that on the site, but it's a lot of fun.
I think people underestimate the VIP stuff because, yeah, okay, you're having fun and it's great, but those conversations that you have kind of behind the scenes, you know, Terry and I, when we first started, I think the first 7 years, we didn't know anybody in the industry. It was just us.
Yeah.
And then once we started meeting people, I think it made a huge difference for us as far as, you know, you can always increase your skill set. You can be, you know, better at your job. You can learn more things, but your connections are gold. Like I can refer people because I know them personally. I've met them at events, you know, and I know their integrity.
Yeah. There's also been people that I didn't necessarily like through social media that I've met in person that are much more personable than I had expected. So, you know, that's worth noting too.
Terry can comment on that.
I'm not going to name any names or anything, but
yeah.
No, I agree 100%. I mean, there's, you know, there's people in there that, you know, and like Elisabeth said, we've gone to personal things with these people that we've met through this business, and which that's, you know, that's always really cool. And you can, you know, plan things. You know, we had Gear and Green planned like 10 guys in a room in Vegas. And it was all just about tech stuff. And it was one of the coolest events we went to, you know, that year. So, but there's all kinds of things depending on where you're at. I'm obviously a big believer in events. It changed our business. It continues to change our business. We went to the Gatlinburg event last week, and it literally was, you know, oh shit. And we've been doing this for 13 years now, I think. And so we're still seeing new things to do on, what we might be able to do better. These events are just gold. And so when you go to these things, I try to tell people, have a goal, have a reason. Are you struggling with one thing or another? Do you want to specifically meet and spend time with one person?
Right.
And don't be scared. So don't think these people are unapproachable, because they're, at least most of them aren't. Obviously you're going to run into people at events that, speak and then get in their car and leave type of people, but that's not this group. This group is a group that, you can walk up and say, hey, I'm struggling with this. Can you give me some pointers or stuff like that? And that's where the gold comes from. Obviously the stage is one thing, and you definitely will have a notebook full of stuff that you want to implement. But now it's time to go ahead and see, hey, I need to know a little bit more about this area, especially the paid ads part. I mean, I meet SEOs all the time that say, oh, I don't want to do paid ads. And I'm like, well, I hate to say it, but somebody's going to end up doing paid ads for that client, and they're probably going to take the SEO. So, because paid ads,
I'm sorry.
I was just saying the paid ads is the way that you get leads the quickest.
Yeah. Andrew is absolutely brilliant at that. He's the most creative person I've ever met too. I don't know if you saw the commercial we made a couple months ago, but he was responsible for that too. So
yeah, which is awesome. So again, you got to be more than just the SEO for your clients nowadays. So
you need to be doing it for yourself too. Like I think that's
sure. 100%.
A lot of SEOs are terrified to
which we haven't done good at. We've done ads and they failed, and I know my copy wasn't good. Elisabeth and I have done, email marketing that, has failed, all this stuff. And this is where we're now learning, we did this wrong and this wrong and this wrong. And, and then you meet people like Andrew and the other people out there that are they're kicking ass with it. And you're like, okay, well, if they can do it, we can do it type of thing.
Like what you're doing right now is something that 99% of the industry is terrified to do. No matter how long I've been screaming, you can reach, it's kind of contradictory to what we're talking about today, but an event, you might reach couple hundred people. You can turn your camera on and potentially reach millions of people, but most SEOs are terrified to do it. So,
oh, for sure. We've been wanting to do this podcast for years, and we just finally said, we're done. We're doing it. So, and we're still not to where we want to be yet. I have a whole bunch of equipment. We're just in separate offices, but I love the value it brings. I love yours is one of the best podcasts out there.
Thank you.
And it's just, but that's where you start meeting people and learning people and say, oh, wow, I'd like to go see this guy somewhere, and start following him. One of the things that I'm surprised about is not many people follow people, especially on Facebook, because it's one of the coolest things that, you can just follow them instead of getting a friend request. And just follow what they're talking about, follow what they're doing,
For a long time, I considered Facebook to be like the office, because like you can meet people and network people and get as close to as you can to that bumping into somebody in the hallway effect that you can't get remotely. So
for sure.
Well, in our industry, so many of us are introverts, I get it. We're shy. We don't really go up to people. Like Terry can go to a huge event and he will not go up and introduce himself, but he'll sit in the corner, and before you know it, there's a crowd around him. He has a lot of value, a lot to share, but he's not going to go out there and push it on people. So, I know you said you're terribly shy and you were really nervous before speaking at the event, but you freaking killed it, And I even had people say that they came to the event specifically because you were speaking, because you don't speak. So, Terry and I are always about creating value, creating opportunities, and connecting people.
Yeah. And you kind of have to be. If you're just in this for a money grab, people are going to catch that really quick.
Yeah.
People are smart. They're savvy. They can see.
Yeah. We went to learn ChatGPT in a weekend in Orlando. And
because I saw you comment on an ad about that.
Every single speaker was like half an hour upsell. I mean, it was just like, oh, Yeah,
I went to a digital marketer event, and I hate to name names, but I went to a digital marketer event 2 years ago, and they're pretty big name in our industry, and the whole thing was just an in-person webinar to sell you a $40,000 a year program. And then they had like an upsell on that, even where they had $100,000 a year program.
Well, if it's of value and if it gives you something that you can actually use and integrate and help scale your business, then yeah, I can see that. But this one particular event Terry's talking about, it was not of the value that we would invest in. Is that like the most polite and political way to say it?
Yeah, I laughed because I saw a Facebook ad for that event and Terry commented on it and said how garbage it was.
Oh yeah, it was. I couldn't believe it. I was just like, oh my gosh, really? And it's funny too, because one of the guys there that spoke is actually a friend of mine on Facebook, and he private messaged me and goes, yeah, it was everybody upsell. And I said, yeah, you were the worst, because he spoke both days. But he didn't unfriend me. So, but yeah, it's and you know what, and I've seen people comment on other people, you know, in Signals Lab or whatever about going to events that it's all just an upsell, and I say BS. You know, I mean the events that, you know, we put on, you put on, you know, rock stars, you know, SEO on the beach, you know, these are not rich people trying to upsell you to get more stuff. Mm-hmm. These are just people that have a heart of gold. They want to share, they want to meet new people, they want to help. You know, and that, I think that is just gold, you know, and, you know, yeah, we've all been to events like that, but, you know, I can tell you the events that I'm involved with, but I wouldn't be involved with the one that was an upsell, because I'd feel uncomfortable. You know, it would just,
that's not your personality.
Yeah,
exactly. So
I purposely didn't want ours to be that way. Now, frankly, it is branded and, you know,
for sure,
a level of commercial to it, but I'm not going to at the end say, and if you wanted more, then, you know. In fact, I'm going to go, if you don't mind, I'm going to talk about, we're actually unveiling like a new technology that we're building into the site that I really can't give much detail on, but everybody that's there is going to get that for free, like, as opposed to, you know, an upsell. So that's one of the big hooks for it. And I just haven't found a good way to really sell the event on that, because I can't give out any details on it, because some little Portuguese fucker will copy it. And, but yeah, that's going to be unveiled at the event, and everybody that comes to the event will get that months ahead of everybody else. So
yeah,
my point to that story is, one, I wanted to promote my event, but also two, that it's not just there to sell you stuff. Like I would be better financially. I'd be better focused not doing this. Like I would be better
100%
focused on.
We can validate.
Yeah, 100%. There's no doubt. I mean, it's just, you know, like I said, if you put on these events and think you're going to make $1 million, well, good luck. So there's too many different variables. You know, Elisabeth and I and the people that we surround ourselves with are all about value. You know, it's not all about the mighty dollar. And, you know, and there's a lot of conferences right now, you know, there's a lot of events. And so, you know, I tell people, look and see who's there. What do you currently, whether you're struggling or maybe you want to learn something new or different. We went to TNC, and traffic and conversions really wasn't anything that I went there to kind of learn, so to speak. Mm-hmm. But I wanted to see one lady that was doing some stuff with Pinterest. And, you know, because I guess Pinterest is the social media platform that is just kind of accepting everything. There's like, you know, it's the old Wild West. And from what I understand from what she taught, you know, it was pretty cool. But it was also an event that was so big, I didn't get a chance to talk to her. I mean, there was, what, 3,000 or 4,000?
Yeah, that's why I never went to that one.
People there. So, so even though I got to see her talk, you know, I tried to friend her on Facebook, and of course it's pending forever.
Yeah.
But it was interesting because we kind of saw how the bigger events are put on. You know, how, you know, the security was pretty friggin' crazy, you know, how people were sneaking in. Holly got caught. Sorry, Holly. But yeah, it was, but, you know, go to events that you want to go to, you know, for whether it be for the people, whether it be for the content, you know, whether it be for, you know, maybe you're getting really good, you know, deep into AI, you know, so there's some people out there that are doing some pretty crazy stuff, but I'm super excited about Legiit Live, mainly just because of the fact that, you know, I do get to meet people that I haven't seen before, you know, and, you know, especially ones that are doing stuff that I think we should be doing or even doing better at, you know, like paid ads. So for our agency. So it's amazing. We do pretty good for our clients, but I haven't done very good for our agency.
That's pretty common. So
yeah, and for sure, I don't know what it is. I don't know. Maybe it's the, internet marketing side or whatever, but it's definitely something we need to get better at.
Yeah.
So, well, cool. So any last minute things about Legiit Live? There's a coupon code there, so save 35% off.
I don't think we talked about the like the specific packages.
Yeah, go ahead and talk about the specific packages.
Would it be all right if I shared my screen?
Of course.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
I find it easier with like a
visual. No, 100%.
A visual.
Yeah. So I think you have to add it to the stage.
Add it to the stage.
Yeah, if you mouse over it's in
mouse over the present.
Yep, and then click add to the stage or whatever it says.
Doesn't say that.
Okay. There's the one with me, and then there's the one with the screen. If you mouse over
there. Okay, there it is. Sorry. Okay, sorry.
Okay.
Terry's one of the least techie peoples I know.
I am. I mean, I can rank anything, anywhere, anytime, but I can't figure out the basic stuff.
I'm the same way. Like I said, people say, "Did you code Legiit?" I was like, "No, I can make it and say hello world." I'm just going to start from the top, if that's okay.
Perfect.
This is the event site. It's legitlive.com. We thought about the name for it for 2 weeks and then decided to just not get clever with it and just call it what it is. The dates are September 13th, which is a Friday for those of you that are superstitious. That will be the VIP event, which the details of are not on here yet, but they should be soon. And then the 14th and 15th. This is the agenda. I'm not going to walk you through every step of it, but I've laid it out. So far, almost everybody has been unhappy with their time slot, so that's still pending. I'm sure you have some experience with those kinds.
Yeah, they don't get to move. It's my decision and my decision.
Good. See, that's valuable for me to know. But lunch and refreshments we've added all throughout the day. We've been asked that a lot. Not a question I was anticipating, so we added that to it. The speakers are me. That's a terrible picture, but it is what it is. Jim is our co-founder. We got Gregory Ortiz, Andrew Moles. We already covered all these, but I want to just go through it real quick. Eldar Cohen, he's coming all the way from Israel. Navneet, who's coming from India. We got Brian, Michael, this guy, whoever he is.
I like that guy.
Oh, really? That's impressive after married.
22 years, 5 kids. I still like him. He's a great guy.
Good for you. I would have to get married 22 times to have that kind of streak. But yeah, Randy and Brock, James, Robbie, Kira, and Brian. And I can't promise there will be anybody beyond this, but I'm still working on it because anyway, we'll come back to the packages in a minute. These are some of our sponsors. I wanted to shout those out really quick. This is my agency and Jim's agency, and then Local Dominator, which is Eldar's software, and MapPack Toolbox, which is Robbie's software, and SERP Trust, who just came in today. And if I'm being honest, I don't really know what they do, but I know the name. They're a seller on Legiit, but I don't know what their agency does. This is the hotel. This is Island Vista Resort. If you're going to book this, either book it through the website or call them. Make sure, and they made this a little more complicated than it needed to be, in my opinion. But mention Legiit SEO conference block 285661. Apparently, you have to say all of that, or they won't know where to put you. But you'll get a little bit of a discount, and frankly, it helps us cover our costs a little bit. So please, if you're going to come, go there. There's a limited number of rooms though, so get them as soon as you can. It's a great hotel. It's right on the beach. I specifically wanted to make sure that there's tens of thousands of hotels here, and I wanted to make sure we got one that was right on the beach because it's the beach. What's the point of not being on the beach if you're at the beach? It's a beautiful place, stands out, so it's nice. It's close to the venue. Takes about a 3 to 5 minute Uber, depending on traffic and stuff. The event is at Pine Lakes Country Club, which is a golf course. It'll be in this building right here. There's a nice ballroom there. It's one of the oldest golf courses in Myrtle Beach, if not the oldest. I'm pretty sure it is. It's really, really nice. And like I say, I have a personal connection to it too, that I'm going to talk about there. Entertainment. Like I said, Myrtle Beach has a year-round population of 30,000 and gets 14 million tourists a year. So that tells you that there's lots of reasons to come here. I've lived here all my life, so I didn't really know what to tell people to do because it's all like that shit's always been there my whole life. So I just, whatever. But there's water sports, golf, shopping, entertainment, pretty much it's basically Disney without Disney World. So there's a lot to do here. It'll be a lot of fun. If you have the time, I suggest making a vacation out of it as well. And then the specific packages, we have two. Let me zoom back out so they'll be on the screen. We have the executive package, which is like the standard package. I just wanted to have a cool name for it. And that is $497. And that gets you into the event on Saturday and Sunday, which is the 14th and 15th. And it also, it's not on here, but I told you that we're going to be unveiling a new technology that will be integrated into Legiit and be a big part of the platform. Everybody's going to get that. It's not listed here, but everybody's going to get that. So you'll get access to the event as well as that added to your Legiit account by the time you get home. And then if you want to do the VIP, which I think is a much better deal, you get access to the event and to the Dave and Buster's party that I talked about a little while ago. You're going to get lifetime access to the Legiit dashboard, which the agency level, which is $97 a month. So, you know, that kind of pays for your ticket right there.
Wow.
Preferred seating. This is something I learned from SEO at the beach. I was going to do front row seating for VIPs, but I thought, you know, some people want to sit in the back. So what we're going to do is give you like a little card and you can just put that in the seats reserved for that person. So you can kind of sit wherever you want. And then that will include an event recording, which everybody else is going to have to pay for. So that is $997. It's pretty straightforward. You just click purchase now. Hopefully my credit card information is not in here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always worried about that when I go to a payment page that it's going to like autofill. And you just, you know, standard checkout page. If you have, you want to use a coupon code, and it's Solterra, assuming you're watching through this stream, and that'll get you 35% off. So, you know, I think this is incredibly affordable. You know, if I would do it for even less, but you know, obviously this is incredibly expensive to plan and to do, but I think that's, if I break even, I'll be very surprised. And I tried to price it that way because I didn't want the cost of the ticket to be the reason that somebody doesn't come. I understand you have to get a hotel, you have to travel, and that stuff is costly and expensive. So I wanted this to not be the barrier to keep someone that wanted to go from going. If you need something other than like this, will take you to like a Stripe checkout. If for some reason you need a PayPal or something like that, you can actually buy it right through Legiit as well. And if you do, just make sure you tell me you came through Solterra, and I'll make sure that they get credit for that. But
yeah, and I'll bump it up one more. If you use the Solterra coupon code, I'll pick one person at the event and give them a free seat to my next on-page class.
Oh, that's crazy! I didn't even know you were going to do that. So awesome. Yeah. So
if anybody that uses the code, I'll get the list from Chris when we get there, and then we'll randomly pick somebody to be in the next on-page, or not the next. I'm starting the next one next week, but an on-page class is coming up. So
yeah, and as far as the pricing, the early bird pricing that you see there will last, I think, about another week or so. It was supposed to end at the end of July, but I went on vacation and didn't really promote as much as I did, so as I wanted to, and so I extended that a little bit to give people a chance to get in as cheaply as, I don't want to say cheaply, as inexpensively as possible. So, you know, it's going to probably double basically because we'll run out of space, and you know, I have to offset the cost somewhat. So get in now is kind of the point that I'm trying to make. So,
for sure.
You know, and let me just make sure that the right link is on the screen there, because some people will just go directly to it. But use the coupon code. Either that way, for sure, we'll know that it came through Terry, because we appreciate them.
No problem.
Doing that. So, yeah, I don't know if there's any questions. I'd be happy to take them. But
if you guys have any questions, reach out to us or Chris or whatever. We'll get your questions answered. It is, you know, what we call a destination event. So I agree. I think we're going to come in a couple days early because I definitely want to play golf. So yeah, I just you know, it's I'm looking forward to the agenda's killer. You know, I can't use the K word anymore. Sorry. The agenda's awesome. And so are the speakers. But reach out if you guys have any questions whatsoever at all. So it's one of the like I said, one of the few events that we're really doing a lot of promotion with. There's, you know, a handful that are coming up here starting this month. And so reach out to me if you can't make this event for some reason, maybe the dates don't work or whatever, and then we can kind of help you find the right event for you, obviously. So any last minute things, Elisabeth, at all?
I'm so excited. I know we're coming in a couple of days early. And so we'll definitely connect with people. I don't know, most everyone knows Terry and I make ourselves available at the events. So anybody can come up and chit chat and say hi, ask the questions, that kind of stuff. And really looking forward to it. It's going to be awesome. And that is a smoking deal. And you're right, that can't be a barrier for entry because I don't see conference prices that low. So
yeah.
And
that makes me think I made a mistake. So I will, keep that in mind, folks. This may be the only chance to get to an event of ours. If we do this again, it probably will not be that cheap next year if we do this again, because lessons learned.
Yes.
Exactly. Yep. And it's yep. And if you do it a second year and a third year, it's you really start looking and say, okay, yeah, we need to do something different here.
Things have to evolve, as you get bigger and do it more. But, absolutely, while we're there, Chris, if you need anything, reach out. We're happy to support you and help in any way we can.
That's very kind of you. Thank you. Definitely let me know when you get here, and we'll see what we can do.
Yep.
Heck yeah. Maybe we'll go to dinner or something. So.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So thank you, Chris, for joining us. It's been awesome. I love your marketplace. Can we call it a marketplace, I guess?
I prefer platform, but marketplace is fine.
Okay, yeah. I love your platform. And then obviously I'm looking for, I'm really glad you did an event because it gives me an excuse to come see, my friends, meet new people, and then go to Myrtle Beach. So.
When we chose the location, because we had a few options, one of the reasons I chose it was because of the connection I have to it, but I absolutely thought of you because I know that you had like a couple of years at your event, you would do like a golf thing beforehand. And I remember that when we chose that. So.
Nice.
Yeah. Thank you. That's awesome. Yeah. It's fun. It's kind of my happy place. When I'm having a bad day, I'll go golfing.
Unless it's in the middle of the day, because it's too flipping hot.
Yeah. That's this time of year.
What's funny is I've lived here all my life and I've been golfing twice. And the last time was when I was 12.
Wow. That's crazy. So, but that's, we hear the same stories here. I think we're the second most populated golf place in the country after Myrtle Beach. But in the summertime, you got to be off the golf course by 9 o'clock or you're going to die.
Yeah.
So, but all right, Chris, well, thank you so much, my friend. And we look forward to seeing you here in a few weeks. If anybody out there, again, reach out to us if you have questions. If you need, help with anything, Elisabeth and I are just, reach out to us. This is our passion to help people. So we appreciate everybody being on. Thank you for all the great comments and looking forward to seeing you guys at Legiit Live.
Thank you. And if you need help, you can also use Legiit support. We have 24/7, so they can help you out too.
Exactly. All right, everybody. We'll see you in September. Thank you.